So I get this comment a lot where basically when someone goes to color correct, they still feel like the orange is bleeding through their makeup. And because it does that, it makes them not want to color correct at all. I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is literally $4. You can get this at any drugstore, Target, and this comes in a coral shade and this comes in a red orange shade. So if you're more fair than me, you're going to go coral. And if you're deeper than me, you're going to go red orange. But today we're going to use orange. It has a brush tip. So we're just going to squeeze the tube until we see the brush become saturated with some product. And you're going to brush this on everywhere you feel you have hyperpigmentation. So I'm going to swipe it on through here, here, and then around my mouth. If you're new to makeup or you've just really never seen someone color correct, this can be super jarring, but let me tell you, this is the most pivotal step in your makeup routine. Now you're going to grab an eyeshadow brush or something that's pretty small like this, and you're going to shear the concealer out. Now all I do is go directly over that concealer and I kind of zigzag back and forth over it. So I'm spreading that orange around, pushing it into areas that need a little bit of color corrector, but I'm not adding more product. I'm also using a brush that's kind of shaped like this because I think it fits beautifully into this crevice, and I'm just going to take my time to push the concealer around. And you can see that as it spreads out, it kind of lightens up a little bit, circular motions, and lightly zigzag over that color corrector. So my setting spray that I love to use is the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray because this has vitamin C, which is nice for brightening, and then it has cactus flower and it smells really good. But you can use a setting spray that you already own, something that has like glycerin as a main ingredient, so it's going to be more hydrating. So you want to think about more of a refreshing spray and not so much a locking in spray. And what it does is it just like very mildly waters down the orange color corrector so that we can go on to build on top of it without adding very dense layers. And now that we've sprayed, take your brush and buff over that orange color corrector again, and you'll see that it's thinned out even more, but you don't want to wipe away the orange, okay? You need that veil of color on your face because this is our neutralizing veil. So just buff gently. Now you're going to start to see things make a little more sense. You're going to grab a concealer, one that's close to your skin tone. And by the way, if you're looking for a good drugstore formula, this Milani, I think is totally a Tarte Shape Tape dupe. And you're going to tap over everywhere that you applied that color corrector. So you're just going to dot on a little bit of product. Grab an eyeshadow brush. This is somewhat fluffy, but it's flatter in profile, and start to pat out over that concealer. So it's important that you're not swirling and dragging. And I honestly don't really like to use a wet beauty blender for this. You want to control exactly where you're pushing that product. So for me, I want to keep it really isolated to exactly where I put that color corrector. And as you blend out, you'll see some areas where there's like no product and then there's color correction and concealer. Don't worry about that. That is all going to come together in the end. Now you're about 90% neutralized. You can go with foundation directly over this if you have more dry skin, but if you're oily or if you've had a history of your color corrector bleeding through, this step's going to be important for you. You want to take a blotting powder, something that does not have color. So this is Invisimatte by Fenty, but you can use any pressed powder that doesn't really deposit a lot of product. You just want something that's going to pick up shine. Get some powder and lightly tap over everywhere you concealed and color corrected. So what this does is basically create a little tiny thin invisible border layer between your concealer, color corrector, and then the foundation that you're going to put on top of this, or foundation powder. Basically, you really want to seal it in. So we used very wet, creamy emollient products. Now we're going in with something dry that's going to kind of be like the final boss in terms of blocking this product from going anywhere. If you do not do this and you have had bleeding in the past, I promise when you do this, you're going to notice a giant difference. And now that we're totally sealed in, powdered down, going with foundation directly over this, what I like to do is just take a little bit before blending it all over the face so that I don't disrupt that color corrector or concealer and it pushes directly over that powder. But if I were really to swirl and buff foundation over this mouth area, you would start to see all of the concealer move and then that orange would bleed through. So now because we're just pouncing and pushing into the skin, literally it's just a pounce motion. It's just that over and over. We don't disrupt anything. It just covers it beautifully. Okay, so back with the foundation done, you can see there's just a little bit of orange peeking through and there's still darkness because we haven't concealed there, but the outer edge is completely neutralized. You literally can't tell that we built up a couple of orange layers with concealer and powder underneath. It just looks like even skin tone. That is how you get your orange color corrector to stop bleeding through. I'm gonna do a little concealer and powder and then we'll come back with the finished look. This is the completed complexion done. You can see that we're neutralized and most importantly, there's no orange color corrector peeking through. Okay, I also turned off one of my lights so you could see the makeup just a little bit differently. Skin, it's neutralized. There's no hyperpigmentation or orange peeking through. We're happy.